Good morning, good morning. Thank God I made it to Eureka, where it's not raining, but in Mount Shasta and Weed is crazy pouring. Woo! What a day. Made it to work early. I couldn't sleep. I got too much things on my brain, so I figured just leave early, putt through, go slow, and then finally made it here to work. I'm just gonna chill here for a second. So here's one thing that I want everyone to kind of catch an idea. I got a download the other day, which was, this topic when we go to city councils and we're pressing and pushing for change and multi-generational thinking and anticipating future stuff that's happening. The gut feeling that I got was, most people, I'm not an ageist, but most people that's in their older years, may be, medium age for our town, and probably most towns out here in Siskiyou is probably about 55 or older. And that's just the average age. Average means half. That's what average means. Half. Which is fine. Again, not ageist. But the download I got was that most people have an attitude of, I've been around I was born here in this town. I've seen expansion and contraction and expansion and contraction so many times every decade. This is just another one of those. They're all the same. Probably my house might be paid off. Probably all my kids are probably grown, over 20. Probably, whatever. They're just kind of in that stage of, this is just like any other time, and the city will figure it out and will magically pull through. That kind of thinking is the impulse that I get from reading everybody's comments and talking to everybody. And I'm here to let you know that this is not the same. It's not the same. Because nobody that's been 55, 65, 75, 85 for damn sure, nobody has ever been in an AI age. No one. Not in this lifetime. No one has any clue what's happening outside of Siskiyou County and how the ripple effect in Eugene and Sacramento ripples off to Medford and Redding. And whatever happens there ripples off to Siskiyou County. And if you check out every city, I bet you if I put my name and my email on every city council email of every city in there to send me their agenda of their city council, and I scraped all the data, I summarized all the data, and I had AI show me the combination of issues combined, similarities. I bet you money 75, 80% is probably the same problems. Highly likely. Etna, Fort Jones, Big Springs, Montagues, even Shasta Lake and their weird HOA that's happening over there. And that fun little spot, hiding by a lake and the golf course. Weed for sure. Dunsmuir's boarded up and McLeod's already passed it. I want everyone to think about McLeod. Do some of you know that that's not even an incorporated city anymore? Which is fine, because I'm all about State of Jefferson and constitutional republics. I'm all about it. And I just don't think everyone thinks that their town in the next less than one decade could actually file bankruptcy and be absorbed into the county as a township again, just like McLeod. I don't think Etna, Eureka, and Weed, or even people in Mount Shasta, even though I'm yelling the loudest in Mount Shasta, that there is a very high probability, very high, not like anybody has ever seen before, and with the impulse drag that I'm feeling inside is, so many people think it's just like before. So many people just think, the city will figure it out. They'll figure it out. They'll pull out of there somehow. Amazon just took $2 million from every town. Does anyone know that? All the sales tax that used to be online, that used to go to your town, doesn't go to your town anymore. That money that used to be $1 to $2 million used to go to your police officers and your fire department and your maintenance crew to fix your roads. You don't have that anymore. Is that any fault of your councils? Nope. That's called 2025. That's called an ever-evolving and changing world that no one has ever seen before. And you guys have no damn clue how fast, how crazily impactful and deathly overwhelming even my generation can't even come close to keeping up, which means the next generation is beyond super screwed. And it's not the council's fault. And so that's what I'm trying to say, is that the council people are seeing stuff that's never happened before. And the next council won't never see stuff that will never happen, has never happened before. And they're still trying to hold to a book and say things in a certain way, an ancient book, and believe that it's going to work like that. Well, it's not. It's just not. And so what's going to happen to every small town's population when your population gets cut in half? What happens to property taxes and sales tax inside of your town when your population gets cut in half? Your budget gets blown 50% is an F. If you can't do that, what happened? Now, our graduating class, which are awesome, they're going to go have the biggest party in heaven. The baby boomer class, they're going to celebrate like hell. They're going to have a great time. Kind of wish I was there with them. But then the baby class, the high schoolers and the elementary schoolers, if they cannot move into a housing that is affordable for them, which is somewhere near 150, 250 in reality, according to the industries that we have out here in Siskiyou County, Mount Shasta. If you can't create housing that's 150, 250 max, then we will lose our younger generation. The end. They might go to COS. They might end up on a hay baler. They might end up in a skidder in the woods. Maybe. But most of them, they're going to Redding. They're going to Medford. They're going to Sacramento. They're going to Eugene. Because we, the elders and council members, for some strange reason, has this weird-ass philosophy of magically we're going to figure this out. We don't care. Second thing, we're graduating anyway. Our house is paid off. Our kids are grown. We don't care. Thirdly, why the hell would I ever think 7 generations deep? Intergenerational. Why do I care what our high schoolers and elementary schoolers and those that are just being born now, where they're going to live? Why would I never think that far? Why would I ever think like that? They'll just find a house somewhere, I hope. But I'm not going to actively do anything about it either. Okay, so I just hounded on you long enough. But what I'm trying to say is that this gut feeling inside from everything that I've ever read or seen and consolidated, consolidation is the key word right there. And there's already, stress fractures in the system. And it's already showing signs of consolidation. Consolidation, for example, on council, just this Monday, they were talking about the joint effort of dispatching for the fire department and the police department and lowering the qualifications for a fire captain for Mount Shasta, because we can't hire anybody, lower it down to a fire engineer so that we can have a position. All that means is shrinkage. All that means is consolidation. Pretty soon, the hospital is also getting stress fractures. And they're trying to work with Redding and Medford and all these other hospitals to do online treatment or Zoom treatment or, get grants from somewhere else and figure out the problem, et cetera, et cetera. But if none of you have ever thought of Mount Shasta without a hospital, that's traveling nurses' whole... It's just as much as an emergency service as it is with police officers, fire departments, and teachers. And that they're already showing stress fractures. What ends up happening later on when your town gets cut in half is called high schools consolidating, elementary schools consolidating, redistricting. That's a funny word. And then all the attitudes of the upper area is like, we've been through this before. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. You just don't care. You have never been through this, ever. You guys have no clue what's happening outside and how the ripple effect is coming inside. No clue. Not a damn clue. Fentanyl's taking over the whole place over there. That wasn't here before. Everyone used to be gold miners, farmers, and loggers. A very simple, easy, good life, firewood life. Today's world is not even close to the same. And in the next 5 years, take 50 years of progress of humanity and smash it into the next 5 and then do it every week. Because that's literally where the ripple effect is coming and the world is changing. And we're not talking about it enough. And we're not seeing it. So what I'm here to tell you is that if nobody stands up and starts to do something and take ownership of your own little town, you won't have a town. Your incorporated city and flag will become unincorporated, which is fine. I'm not that big of a deal either, which is fine. But have you ever thought of your town moving into a township before and absorbed by the county? And you don't make city decisions anymore? You don't have a police station because all your staff, we just lost 2 full-time staff. And now we're going to lose another one if we don't pass the sales tax come next year. You lose another one. Every time you lose a police officer, your premiums and your insurance goes up. Pretty soon you're risky as a business. You're uninsurable. Uninsurable businesses file bankruptcy. It's too much risk. You get one lawsuit, you're done. So what automatically happens? The incorporation files bankruptcy and it turns into a township and it gets absorbed by the county. Now the county has to make the decisions for Mount Shasta. Or Weed or Dunsmuir, just like McLeod. But is anybody seeing that in their future, that their kids are going to grow up in a township run by the county? Because we today didn't stand up and do something about it. We did not anticipate our baby boomers making their greatest graduation party of the century. And we did not anticipate that our high school and elementary school kids are not getting full ride scholarships to D1 colleges all over the country. But instead, where are they living? What industry are we building as their parents today for them to have a good sustainable income for their families on a divorce rate that's 70 or 80% by now? I'm planning, you know why the tiny house thing went? Because I wanted all my kids. I wanted 5 tiny houses. I got a lot more kids now. I wanted 5 tiny houses for my 5 kids. To have a tiny house here on Mount Shasta so that every decade, if they go through a divorce, they can always come with me. They can always come with me. No matter what happens in the changing world, they'll always have a tiny house with me. They can stay as long as they want. They can go whenever they want. They can reset for a year or 2 and work at a gas station for all that I care. Reset their life, strap it back on and go again. That's my why of why we push this damn thing through. And I'm not like the biggest, I don't care if it's shipping containers. I don't care if it's hempcrete. I don't care if it's 3D printing. I don't care if it's a teepee. All I care is that in today's world, our kids have it a million times harder than anyone even really recognizes or knows. And we're not planning for it, which means we're going to lose them. And all of our places are going to start consolidating. And the stress fractures are already happening. And these stress fractures are happening from outside of Siskiyou County. And it's breaking it on the inside. And I don't even think the county knows this. Because I think probably the county is 55-year-olds. No, that's not old. But they're 55 or older. 4 out of 5 council members of every small town, including Wairika, including the county, are probably 65 on average. They mentally have no clue what's happening in the world. They don't get it. How could you? You can't. You can't even recognize it. It's you're looking at problems and you don't have the solutions because it's an evolving, changing world. Fuck, it's evolving. It's hard for me to even figure out how to get this, and I see it a lot. And so how is my kids going to figure it out? All I'm hoping that, I know that I sound extreme and maybe hyper emotional or something, but it's a real topic. and I'm in the midst of it, and I see everyone's comments. I reply to everybody. I talk to everybody. Everyone messages me. Everyone calls me. And we have real conversations, not just with people inside the city, but outside the city, outside the state. And we come up with different solutions of what we can do. And we push it through, and we try. And a lot of our shit fails. Remember I told you that we're trying to move the public comment from the top to the bottom so that we could get a better grasp of what's going on? Well, we tried to push that through, and it didn't happen. They like it the old school. So how are we going to reposition the public comment so that the public can actually make more comments? I'm just going to have to run. That's all. I'm just going to have to do it. And I'm going to have to get 2 friends. There you go. 3 out of 5. There's your vote. And then when other cities do not anticipate the graduation of our elders and their greatest party ever on humanity, mile marker of the earth, and their town gets cut in half, Mount Shasta will survive. Because today we are thinking about the high school and elementary school into tiny houses on wheels or any other affordable alternative housing options now, right now. And our attention is on saving them, keeping our kids. And while all the other little towns fall because you're not thinking about your kids and you're not thinking about the graduation party and your town getting cut in half, Siskiyou County will, half of their towns of today will turn into townships. And they will be consolidating high schools and elementary schools and police and fire departments. The sheriff systems is going to have to hire a shit ton more people because you don't have a police station when you're a township. That means the sheriff has to fly all the way to McLeod if something happens. Dunsmuir's on the way out. If nobody's following, sheriffs are going to have to fly everywhere to cover the townships. Good luck. I mean, it's not their fault. I love them. I love our sheriffs a lot. They're constitutional. But in 10 years from now. So I just want that to get out there today. That we are in real times. Times that has never, ever, ever been seen on this planet for a very long time. For a long time. And those that are alive today, that are in the leadership council members of every small town, including the county, has never seen these types of problems before, and we're just getting started. Every year from now on, the problems will increase. It'll evolve. What's actually happening is that AI is exposing the systems that don't freaking work. AI is just putting a spotlight on top of systems that are ancient, archaic, and pyramid status and yellow pages. And AI will break it. And when it breaks, which is mathematical, especially when nobody's active inside of there to help it not break, what's going to end up happening is the flag is going to get a gold fringe around it and every incorporated city will fall. That's what's going to happen. Our elders are going to celebrate and say deuces. And our kids, I don't even know if I could save all our kids even if we started now. Really. I might be too late. We might lose 90% of our kids because by the time they all graduate, I might only have 5-10 houses, tiny houses up and running and a manufacturing office in Mount Shasta. I'm buying the land that's only zoned so far. It's not that big. Mount Shasta's not that big. We need to collect the data of slowing the depopulation, stopping the depopulation, and growing the population, anticipating a graduation, and then thriving in order for that data to be presented to county, for county to be accepted into tiny house or alternative housing as the solution, because it's $150,000 or less, which is affordable for our elementary and high school to move into. So we can retention, sustain, and a low revolving door. All the vacancies in councils might have a chance. We have a labor force that might incentivize industry and warehouses and conscious industry to come in because we still have a labor force because we kept our kids. So we might still have a town. Everybody else will turn into a township if nobody moves. And so we have the previous mayor, a good friend of mine, Jeffrey. We play a lot of pickleball together too, but joining us for our tiny home affordable housing dinner this Sunday. It's at Mount Shasta. It's at Soul Connection. It's upstairs at 5 p.m., 5 to 7 p.m. And it's going to be a Q&A session where you guys get to ask, what are we doing? How are we doing it? And how can we help? And then we have a little pasta dinner. You can go to yeahmovement.com, YEAH movement.com. You can do your RSVP of a ticket. It's $25 for adults and it's free for kids. We're going to do it every month forever. The intent is to pay for the rental on the room to sustain it every month forever. It's to pay for the pasta or the tacos that we do every month forever. And it's to create letters so that we can send out letters of intent for purchase, so we can buy the land that qualifies for tiny houses on wheels in Mount Shasta right now, until we can do the same thing and grow it out to the county. And maybe in 10 years from now, we might be able to save a generation if we act now. So this Sunday, over there, Q&A with the mayors, with the councils. It's time to open up communications. Get your ticket or just come over to Soul Connection. We'll have a thing at the door. Just walk in, pay at the door, come in and ask your questions and figure it out. It's open to the whole county. You don't have to be in Mount Shasta. You don't have to buy online if you don't want to. It just helps my lady so that we cook the right amount of, buy enough salad and cups and plates and all that stuff for all the kids. So, yeah, if you want to do something, it's time to do something, okay? Love and light. I got to go. Bye. Woo! Have a good day.